Good morning, students. Today we read the remaining part of this chapter 3 of class 9 science, atoms and molecules. In previous class we have already discussed about the constant proportion and law of conservation of mass. Here we will discuss about the atomic mass. The most remarkable concept that Dalton's atomic theory proposed was that of the atomic mass. According to him, each element had a characteristics atomic mass. The theory could explain the law of constant proportion. So, the scientists were prompted to measure the atomic mass of an atom. Relative atomic masses were determined by using law of chemical combination and the compounds formed here. Let we take a compound carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide which is formed by one atom of carbon and one atom of oxygen. What will be the atomic mass of this carbon monoxide? This carbon monoxide formed by one atom of carbon and one atom of oxygen. The atomic mass of carbon is 12 unit and that of oxygen is 16 unit. So this carbon monoxide 12 plus 16, that is 28 unit. Let us take experimental 3 gram of carbon combines with 4 gram of oxygen to form carbon monoxide. Here this carbon combines with 4 by 3 times its mass of oxygen. If we take 3 gram of carbon and 4 gram of oxygen, then the mass of this oxygen is 4 by 3 of that of the carbon, and carbon is 3 by 4 of that of oxygen. But we generally measure with that of the carbon, and the mass of any compound is expressed with a symbol U, that is unit. But it was using AMU, atomic mass unit, but now we use only U, that is unit which shows the mass of any compound. It is unified mass. Next, when oxygen react with large number of elements, they form compounds, and atomic mass unit give mass of most of the elements as whole number. That's why while searching for various atomic mass, scientists initially took 1/16th of mass of atom of naturally occurring oxygen as the unit. However, in 1961, for a university accepted atomic mass unit, that is carbon 12 isotopes, was chosen as a standard reference. Carbon has many isotopes, and among all these, carbon 12 is considered and which is accepted for the reference of atomic mass. One atomic mass unit is a mass unit equal to exactly 1/12 of carbon 12 isotopes, or mass of one atom of this carbon 12. Whenever we find the atomic mass, we have to refer to this mass of one atom of carbon 12, 1/12 of mass of one atom of carbon 12 isotopes. The relative atomic mass of all the elements have been found with respect to atom of carbon 12. Next, how do the atoms exist? Atoms of most elements are not able to exist independently. Atoms form molecules and ions. These molecules or ions aggregate in large number to form the matter that we can see, feel or touch. But in some cases, atom can exist independently. A very rare elements are there which have independent atoms. They can move freely. Generally, it happens in inert element. But in maximum cases, maximum elements, the atoms combine together. Either they form molecules or ions. From these atoms, they may form molecule or ions by aggregation of these atoms. Combination. By combination of these atoms, either we get molecules or ions. When they form molecules or ions, then they can only exist freely. So first we have to know what is molecule. Molecule is a general group of two or more atoms that are chemically bonded together. Group of two or more atoms bonded chemically. When two or more atoms they combine chemically, that group of atoms is said to be molecule. Molecule can be defined as the smallest particle of a compound and shows all properties of that compound, like CO2. It is the combination of one carbon and two oxygen atoms. In this combination, they are in the volume ratio 1:2. Similarly, in carbon monoxide, their volume ratio is 1:1. So when the ratio of mass differ, then different compound will be formed here. In these cases, the atoms combine chemically. Chemical reaction happens, like carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide, carbon plus oxygen gives carbon monoxide. In different conditions, it gives different compounds. the same reactants, that carbon and oxygen, when they react chemically, it forms, generally it forms carbon dioxide, but sometimes it forms carbon monoxide. It is only due to the absence of sufficient oxygen. If it gets sufficient oxygen, then it forms carbon dioxide, but if sufficient oxygen is absent, then it gives carbon monoxide. But this carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, these are two different compounds having some atoms of different elements, and they show different masses also. In this case, the atoms can lose their properties when they react chemically. When they make compound, they lose their properties, and different properties will be shown when a compound forms here, when a molecule forms. Here, a molecule of carbon dioxide is there. The property of this carbon dioxide and the properties of carbon monoxide, these are different. But a number of carbon monoxide molecules are there. Each and every molecules will show similar properties of that of carbon dioxide. Similarly, when we take water, when hydrogen combines with oxygen, it gives water. In this chemical reaction, the property of hydrogen and properties of oxygen will be lost when they form the compound water. Properties of hydrogen, properties of oxygen, which are different from that of the properties of water. But if we take a number of hydrogen molecules, number of oxygen molecules, they will show similar properties. All hydrogen molecules will show similar properties. All oxygen molecules will show similar properties to that of the oxygen, and all water molecules will show similar properties to that of the water. But if we break, like if water is there and we pass electricity, then it will break down into hydrogen and oxygen. Now, the molecules of water, when it is break into atomic form, then the properties of water will be lost there. So it's the last stage in which the properties of a compound forms, that is the single molecule. The ultimate particles of that compound is its molecule. In molecular form, it will show its properties of the given compound, but when it is break, then the properties of compound will not be shown. Next we will discuss what is ion. Next one is ion. When an atom or a group of atoms, they carry some charge, that is called ion. An atom or group of atoms carrying some charge, that is called ion. Ion may be positive, may be negative, according to the losing or gaining of electrons. Like in case of sodium, which atomic number is 11. Since the atomic number is 11, then it carries 11 proton and 11 electron. Number of proton and number of electrons are equal. That's why it is electrically neutral, because this proton gives positive charge and electron gives negative charge. Number of positive charge and number of negative charge both are equal. That's why an atom of sodium is electrically neutral. But if it loses one electron, if it is lost one electron from this neutral atom of sodium, then number of proton becomes 11 and that of the electron becomes 10. Now, proton, number of proton is greater than number of electron. That's right. Positive charge becomes greater than negative charge. If positive charge is greater than negative charge, then the atom becomes ion. Why it becomes ion? It becomes electrically positive. Since one more positive charge is there, the atom will show as the positive nature. It becomes positive ion. This type of atom which carries some charge is said to be ion. So in case of sodium, it loses one electron. Why it loses electron? In case of this sodium atom, 11 electrons are there in their electronic configuration. The cells are accommodated like 2, 8, 1. Every atom try to be inert. They will show inertness. They will show the property of the nearest inert element. And for this sodium atom, the nearest element is neon, having electronic configuration 2, 8. So next one is M cell, which is filled by 1 electron. If the outermost cell is completed by 8 electrons, then it can show inertness by octet form. But here 1 electron is present in its outermost cell. So either it will get 7 more electrons to fill this M cell, or lose 1 electron to show the nearest inert element configuration. So it is easier for this sodium atom to lose this 1 electron, because when electrons gained by atom or electron lost by atom, in both cases it requires energy. So gaining of 7 electrons require more amount of energy as compared to losing of 1 electron. So it will lose 1 electron. That's why it becomes 10 as the number of electrons in case of sodium after losing. Since one negative charge is lost, the sodium becomes positive in nature. That's why it is written Na+, and this Na+ is said to be ion of sodium. Similarly, if we look chlorine, in case of chlorine, it has atomic number 17. It means it has 17 proton and 17 electron. For every neutral atom, the number of proton and number of electron always equal. So, in case of chlorine, it has atomic number 17, means that present 17 proton and number of electrons also 17. That's why it has 17 positive charge and 17 negative charge. That's why it is neutral atom of chlorine. But its electronic configuration K, L, M, N. It is accommodated by K cell is 8 in L cell and 7 in M cell. Here the outermost cell M cell is filled by 7 electrons. This chlorine also can't show this octet form or inertness. That's why it loses or gains some electron. To complete this outermost cell, since it has 7 electrons in outermost cell, then it will try to gain one more electron. Yes, losing of 7 electrons will require a lot of energy. But gaining of 1 electron requires very less energy. That's why it will gain 1 electron from any monovalent atom to fill this outermost cell and to show inertness. So it will take one electron here. Now number of proton and number of electron becomes 17 and 18 respectively. Number of electrons now it becomes 18. Since number of negative charge is greater than positive charge, so this chlorine becomes Cl minus. It is an ion. In the previous thing, in sodium case we observed Na plus, but here it is observed Cl minus. These are ions, but in different natures. Sodium forms positive ion, whereas chlorine forms negative ions. This type of positive ion and negative ions are said to be cation and anion. Similarly, if we take more than 2 atoms, then also we get ions. For example, hydroxide ion, nitrate ion, carbonate ion, sulfate ion, phosphate ions. These are the ions, and also ammonium ions. These are also ions formed by more than 2 atoms with a group of atoms. So ions may be formed by single atoms or by a group of atoms. How to write chemical formula? Chemical formula is a compound which is symbolical representation of its composition. When we write the chemical formula of any compound, that represents its representation, it represents the composition of its constituents. The chemical formula of different compounds can be written easily. The combining power of any atom, which is called the valency, should be known for writing the chemical formula. This valency can be used to find out how the atoms of an element will combine with the atoms of another element. That's why it is called combining capacity of an atom. Like calcium, its combining capacity is 2, so its valency is 2. In magnesium, it has the combining capacity is 2, so its valency is 2. In case of sodium, valency is 1. In case of chlorine, valency is 1. In case of aluminum, valency is 3. These are the combining capacity, or it is called valency. How to know the valency? We can obtain the valency of an atom by knowing the electronic configuration. Like calcium, in Al, when it is filled, the energy level, calcium having atomic number 20, it is 2882. Last 2 electrons will be donated, that's why combining capacity is 2, so valency becomes 2. Magnesium, atomic number 12, and accommodation in the energy level is 282. The last orbit there are just 2 electrons, so it will donate 2 electrons, so its valency will 2. The combining capacity is 2. Combining capacity, it can combine with 2 different monovalent atoms. That's why valency becomes 2. Sodium 11, that is 2 to 8 1. Combining capacity is 1. It can combine only one monovalent atom, that is the combining capacity is 1, so valency is 1. Chlorine 17, 2 8 7. It will combine with only one atom, so valency is 1. In case of aluminum, atomic number is 13, 2 8 3. It will lose 3 electrons. It will combine maximum with 3 atoms. That's why valency is 3. In this way, we can find the valency of an atom, and this valency needs for writing the chemical formula. Like magnesium chloride. How to write the chemical formula of magnesium chloride? In case of magnesium chloride, 2 elements are combined here. First one is magnesium, second one is chlorine. Magnesium and chlorine. We have to write the valency of each of the elements just below that atom. In case of magnesium, valency is 2. Write 2 below this magnesium atom, and for chlorine, valency is 1. Written 1 just below this chlorine atom. Now, by crossing the valency and the atoms, it becomes Mg1Cl2. Mg1Cl2, which can be written as MgCl2. The chemical formula of magnesium chloride MgCl2. Similarly, when we want to write sodium oxide, in case of sodium oxide, 2 elements are there. One is sodium, another is oxygen. That is sodium and oxygen. In symbolically we can write Na and O. Sodium and oxygen. Next we have to write the valency of each of these elements. That is 1, 2. Now we'll cross that. We'll get Na2O1 becomes Na2O. Sodium oxide as chemical formula Na2O. Next, magnesium oxide. Two elements are combined here, magnesium and oxygen. Magnesium Mg, oxygen O. Next we will write the valency of magnesium, that is 2, and for oxygen it is 2. It becomes Mg2O2, or we can write here MgO, magnesium oxide. Similarly, in case of calcium oxide, calcium Ca, oxygen O. Valency of calcium is 2, valency of oxygen is 2. By crossing, it becomes Ca2O2 gives CaO. This MgO is magnesium oxide, whereas CaO is calcium oxide. In this process, we can generate the chemical formula of any compound. This method is known as Kristoff method. The remaining part, that is the mole concept, we will read this mole concept in next class.